just going to hit record to the cloud, I guess. It's recording. We have to do that for 79.
You see the lower part? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think I did it. While we are waiting for everyone to come on, Sue, do you want to quickly just tell the group here, you know, what you've been doing for the last 20 years and why you're going to be such a great asset for us on this group, on this committee?
Am I? No, I'm not muted, right?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, good. No, I'm delighted to do this. I've worked for actually more important for this group is that I was involved in the regional tourism district development over a number of years, starting with the smallest of the kernel of it in the Norwalk-Wilton area and expanded regionally to the Yankee Heritage District, which I believe New Canaan was a part of, and then expanded to coastal Fairfield County, which worked with the state and actually was an extremely successful regional tourism operation until the state decided they weren't going to fund it anymore. And they merged coastal Fairfield County with Litchfield County, which was operationally, it was a terrible mistake because those of you who are familiar with Litchfield County it's very rural. It's got a very different message in the New York metro area. And as a result of that, all the major hotels backed out and they were not participating anymore. The district office sort of fell apart and the professionals who'd been involved left, and most of the big cities, Norwalk, Bridgeport, Stamford, Greenwich, all dropped out as well. And so it really basically fell apart as a regional tourism district. But I'm very interested still in the functioning of visitor traffic, in the economics of both our cities, but also our smaller towns. And I think the potential there is enormous, but it's hard to fund it individually. I'm sure that New Canaan has not got a significant budget for the kind of marketing and development that needs to happen. But in any case, that's basically the background of my interest in this.
And you and I first met, I think, back in the day when we were attending all of these conferences and that kind of thing. I mean, I knew you from around town, but so as you can see, as those of you that just heard Sue, I mean, she's going to bring a lot to all of us as we continue this process. And Sue, I don't know how closely you followed along on what what TDAC has done thus far. You know, we're a year and a half into our formation and the work that we're doing. And so at some point you and I should probably get on the phone and I can just bring you up to speed. But we finished the year out with a bang last year where we were able to fund a couple of key projects. And the good news is that they are all still moving forward, even despite COVID. One of them was delayed, but I just got word that they are going to install for the sculpture, the outdoor sculpture exhibit. They are going to install the exhibit in front of Town Hall next Tuesday. So that's going to be a good one. And then, you know, there's one up on 123 on the corner of 123 and Canoe Hill. Is that Canoe Hill?
Canoe Hill.
Canoe Hill, that beautiful field. And then, of course, the Live New Canaan, and hopefully all of you have seen the last Live New Canaan sort of phase that they just sent out over a week ago. I've gotten a lot of good response from it. They're really great about picking up all sorts of content here and there and loading it on the site. So so it's getting some nice reviews, which is terrific. I thought what I would do is, well, first of all, unfortunately, we have to just approve the minutes. We just have to go through the sort of the housekeeping pieces from last meeting. I sent them all to you. I just made one change in that Nez's name was spelled incorrectly, so I'm just correcting that. But if anybody doesn't have any, if anybody has any edits that they want to put forward now, or if not, I'd take a motion. I'd entertain a motion to approve. All right, BJ and Alan, and all in favor, all good? Okay. Okay.
Just for your records, I'm not going to vote, obviously, because
Exactly.
I was not a party to that meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah, likewise to me.
Okay. Just making notes. All right. I just thought I'd bring you guys up to speed. We've been meeting every week, which has been great. But I thought what I would do is just close the circle on some of the things that we've been talking about over the last 4 or 5 weeks, 8 weeks, however long it's been. I think we're all losing track. We did send out, 2 weeks ago now, we did send out, the town sent out a business survey to all the New Canaan businesses. And we are still getting responses in. So once I get that all sort of compiled and in some sort of a format to send out to all of you, I will. The good news is that part of that we were able to also promote the business professional, the free consulting business professional services that we have we have 25, I think, professionals that have signed on now to help. And in fact, I just literally 2 minutes ago got an email from one of the businesses who took advantage of it. And she couldn't say better things just about how it was so helpful for her, and that, you know, what a gift and all that kind of thing, and how she's taken full advantage of it. So I just, oh, here it is. She said she just wanted to thank me for introducing her to Eric. She said Eric and the group are not only brilliant businessmen and women, but their commitment to helping the community in which they live is admirable. And then she went on just giving some examples of how Eric has helped her, and you know, how focused they are and that kind of thing. So in the survey, the one thing I did notice when I looked at the preliminary results was there were 48 of our 78 or so respondents, and that was midweek, so that was yesterday, had said that they would like to take advantage of those services.
Wow.
We did, yep.
What capacity did Eric help her, just generally?
He helped her with some landlord discussion, renewing some sort of lease conversations, but then he actually helped her sort of do an audit of all of her business models and how she could change things up given the situation, because her business happened to be a personal fitness business. And so she really needed to rethink her whole business model. Some people that have reached out don't even really know where they need the help, but they just know they need help. And so they've been helping them through that process too. So the way it works is if you were interested, you would reach out to Eric. He would then sort of talk to you and talk through what some of your concerns were. And then he would put you in touch with the most appropriate person. We did have to, you know, technically put a disclaimer in there that this is all just, you know, free advice, that the town or no one else is responsible for anything. God forbid someone gave someone wrong advice, that kind of thing. But so, as I started to say, I think 48 of the people that had responded said that they were interested in taking advantage of that. So then what we did was we sent them all an email and connected them directly to Eric and his team. He's got a spreadsheet of over 25 people now that can help in all different capacities. So, and he did say, I know, Nancy, I think you had inquired at one of the executive director calls, but they're happy to work with nonprofits. Was it you, Nancy? Somebody had
It was
suggested.
me. It was
was
me.
you.
So I'll reach
Yep.
out to them then. Thank you.
Yep, they're happy to work with nonprofits. I'm going to bring them up and have them do some work for us as well. I mean, they're committed to making every organization in New Canaan thrive to the best that they can help with that. So I thought that was great. But I will get, as far as the actual survey results, I will get a the way we use SurveyMonkey, and that will send us some report and we'll give you some bar graphs and that kind of thing. I did look at it, and it looked to me like close to half of them were feeling pretty confident about being able to continue if COVID didn't continue much longer. You know, they felt that they had what they needed and the support from the town that they needed. We kept it very short. I think it was 6 questions. So as I say, I will send that out to you. Oh, here we've got Kevin joining us. Kevin?
Hello.
Just telling them about the survey that we did. And I don't have the full results yet because a couple more people even went on today, but I'm just saying how several people reported that they wanted to work with Eric and his group. And so we've now followed up with an email out to all of them. And then I forwarded the email to Kevin of that business that had taken advantage of it and found it to be very helpful. So, and we have Sue Schweitzer on the line, Kevin. She's our new member. So,
Hello, Susan. Welcome to the TDOT committee.
Thank you.
You do double duty.
Yes.
Triple duty, actually.
so
Oh.
yeah, that's right. You're on the Conservation Commission and what else?
Sustainability Task Force.
Oh, which I'm on, and I think that's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Right, tomorrow morning. So they're all connected. You know, the knee
All
bone's connected
connected.
to the hip bone kind of thing. Many of you might have seen around town I talked to you about this a couple weeks ago, how the marketing campaign, the sort of messaging campaign that we took advantage of, It's Up to Us. BJ's been helping us with that, get that all printed, but we had a local resident who volunteered her time and expertise as a former art director and that kind of thing, and developed all of this signage for us. We've done a couple of iterations of it. One was just for the restaurants, asking people when they enter to wait there, and you know, the whole mask message and all of that. We're putting up a big one at the train station a couple of days. So, you know, as we were handing them out to everybody, we were just reminding them that it was a great way to send the same message, a consistent message, but also having the town seal on there gave it a little more in the way of authority, if you will. And the message was just, you know, to please wear the masks as much as you can. So the biggest thing that's happened since the last time we met is we are reopen to some extent. We're not all the way there, but we're making progress. Some of you might have taken advantage of the outdoor dining that took place. You know, we were allowed to open as of last Wednesday, but we technically, the town, we went for Friday, and Public Works and everybody went to great lengths to build those walking paths. And, you know, while it's not perfect, it's doing the trick. The restaurants were allowed to come out as far as they could go, and people are walking, and we've got some little plants on them. Beautification League did not like that they had red in the plants. They just couldn't believe it. Oh, and the hanging baskets this year are amazing. They really are amazing. Flags went up, and so all of a sudden it was last Thursday. Town was bustling. It was like there was a wedding or something going on. There were people working everywhere and getting things going. So I know Kevin ate out a couple of times last weekend, and he said it went well. And so I don't know. Did any of you guys go out?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
It was,
I saw you picking up at Roger Sherman, Amanda.
yeah, we took the family, and it was raining a little bit, and we got a little wet out on the patio, but Ness was in her element, and it felt really great, frankly.
Yeah. That's
And-
exactly what I'm hearing from people, is everyone said it just felt right again to be out. So we're, you know, we're happy about that. We had to tweak a few things with a couple of restaurants. The one real issue we had was with Spiga, because it's a state road. So all of a sudden we had some issues with the state that we had to meet, but we got it done. And now we're hoping for the phase 2. I was just on a call with David Lehman. Phase 2 will be June 20th, and we will be able to get some indoor dining going.
Tucker, did they mention movie theater?
No, they didn't. I jumped off it. He was late. He got on at 5:15, and I jumped off at 5:20. So we can follow up with Lucy on that.
Okay.
What is the feedback from the restaurateurs about whether this is a profitable interim period? Is
Yeah.
it, yeah?
The answer is twofold. And one is that I was not here this weekend. I was up in my house in Vermont, and I fully expected my phone to be ringing off the hook, and it didn't. And I took that as a very good sign that no news was good news. And then I thought when I went back in on Monday that my phone was going to be, you know, all sorts of messages, and it wasn't there either. I checked in with a couple of people, a couple of the restaurants, and they said huge help. And what we've done is like Soleil, we gave them extra space. I'm sorry, my daughter's on a call and she's speaking in Spanish too. I'm gonna have to tell her to go to another room. So Soleil, we gave them some extra space because we could, and they did a really nice job of putting umbrellas up and tables and that kind of thing. So, you know, all good things. They were as happy to be back out seeing people as the restaurant, the patrons were.
Great.
Nancy, do you want to bring everyone up to speed on our meeting yesterday with October for Design?
Yeah, we had a meeting for October for Design, and Amanda, I just had emailed you this a few minutes ago. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel, or not cancel, postpone the Modern House Day Tour. The great news is that the symposium speakers, all the homeowners, everybody is on board for October 22nd, 23rd of 2021. There was just simply no way to make it safe if there's some kind of a second wave. You know, I was feeling for homeowners of suddenly like 150 people you don't know in your house. So it didn't work. That said, we had a wonderful meeting of the committee, and there's going to be a lot happening remotely. Everything from a floral arranging where we're going to deliver the flowers to people's homes so they can do it via Zoom, to lectures and concerts that can happen live streamed. The Historical Society over the summer is having all of the internet and phones redone so that we can do live streaming and have the capability, like the library does, to do these things live. This will give us a lot more flexibility so that we can make a judgment call. Maybe there will be something that will have a very limited in-person presence, but will mostly be remote. Otherwise, it will all be remote. But the wonderful committee and a lot of the people in this room, so Tucker, Alan, BJ, were all on this call, and their help and the creative energy that went into that call was really refreshing. And I think we're going to have a great month. It'll be slightly different than what we thought. Obviously, from the Historical Society's perspective, it's sort of a financial disaster because the big fundraiser for us isn't going to happen. But I think in terms of what it's going to do, what it's going to do for the community, what it's going to do for the town, will all still be there. And it gives us kind of a soft opening with a year to really make it work well in 2021.
Great.
Yeah, we really embraced the idea of the soft opening. I mean, that this was really a chance to get out there and in the way that we can with all of this that's going on, but also a chance to try out some things and make a big splash for 2021.
And Alan was actually saying on the call that people are looking for places you can drive to. So, you know, she's going to help get that message out. And I think, and BJ is going to help us do an app. So, I mean, there's ways that we're going to be really creative, and hopefully it will work with a lot of people and organizations participating. So the website can now go forward because we know what we can do. I had been reluctant to have it launch and then have to pull stuff off of the website that suddenly can't be happening. Now that we know what our parameters are, we will launch probably end of June, beginning of July with the programs we know that can happen.
Great. And there'll be a retail portion of it. I mean, every aspect of town is going to get involved, and so that's terrific. Anybody else have anything on that, BJ or Alan, when you were on? Alan, you did bring up in one of our press calls that really the drive market is now a big thing. And
there's a real opportunity for our town. I mean, I was just on a call earlier that, you know, the vineyard's going to be hot this year, Nantucket, but I think just New Yorkers want a place to go right now. So I think however we can be promoting the town, and, you know, I am in discussion with a couple of reporters for that. I think it's a plus. It's a big plus that we have here. So something to play up. And then one thing to bring up, I don't know, because I know I had to jump off the call yesterday. We were talking about creating an app and turning it into an opportunity for a high school internship this summer. Where did you guys end up on that?
So Darla Joe reached out to her contacts over at Norwalk Community College, because that's a little bit more of the level that we need to be at. And so I've got now all my names that I can kind of communicate with and see what they're going to be able to put together.
Great.
So, you know, the trick will be we might need to get like a sponsor who could help us with the hosting or the initial component of it. But it sounded to me like this Norwalk group might work.
That's great, because we were talking about how we're going to have to make it as contactless as possible. We can't give out papers or maps. So we thought with an app, it would
Yeah.
be more appealing. So we'll see.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was interesting, the New Canaan Nature Center is starting to use QR codes for so many things. I even went to Pressburger today, saw a QR code. So there is a lot of good solutions for that.
Right. Gosh, QR codes seem to be like so antiquated to me. now.
I know.
I can't believe it. I remember when QR codes were a big thing 10 years ago, but now we're
Right.
talking QR codes again.
My daughter doesn't even know what they are. I asked her the other day. She's like, "What's that, Mom?" I mean, they're like,
But she would recognize them if she saw them.
it's like a phone with a rotary dial for her. You know, she doesn't know how to use that. So.
I love that description.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so Nancy, you've just got to keep us posted, along the way, what you need from us, from this group, and, so that we can make sure that it is all it can be. I mean, that's going to be a perfect time of year, too, to bring everybody out to attract people to town.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate the help of both TDEC and the individuals on TDEC that are helping with more details. So I will keep you posted, and I think, fingers crossed that October will be better and people will want to come out, or if they're not, they can they can participate remotely and still learn and experience. So that's good.
Heather, I see you're on. How's it going with people opening? Are people coming into the store? Are they making appointments, or a little bit of both?
Oh, wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Mary.
So actually, it's been steadily busy, nothing overwhelming where we couldn't handle it, but it's just been a steady pace of people. We had one little bit of an incident yesterday where we think it was a homeless man came in and he asked to look at the diamonds, which we were a little taken aback. So someone, I wasn't there, someone I work with called the police, who questioned us many times. And it's just like, they should just be driving around town helping, not saying, how do we know, how do this? And then what was interesting is, wait, don't put this in the advertiser. What was I, that the policeman came in without a mask on.
Oh, whoops.
So we thought that, since we're trying to do a downtown thing, and I think they're a good role model for even children and adults to look up to, that I think everyone who I was working with was sort of shocked I wasn't there, that they came in without. But otherwise...
Heather, let me address that. First of all, you have Grace Duffield with the advertiser
Yeah.
on the call here.
Yep.
Welcome, Grace. This is a public meeting. And then secondly, the police have been reminded about wearing masks downtown. They, when they're out and they're away from people, they will take their masks off. But
Right.
coming into a store, they should be wearing their mask.
Right.
They've been reminded a few times.
And
But otherwise, everyone is so psyched to be out shopping. Customers just being out there. But I think people are very respectful, respect the distance thing between each other. I think the state thing, like I was saying with Tucker, like 3 days ago, dressing rooms were closed. Then there was people were then coming into my store saying, well, next store we're allowed to try on clothes. So then Tucker went online for the CT Gov and they changed it, but no one's notified of when people decide to change things. It's not a town thing, it's a state thing. Like, we should get shout outs, like, we just changed this law so everyone's on the same page. But there's only so much that we have to do.
right.
But it's all good.
One of the issues that Kevin and I have been talking about is I'm a little worried that we've gotten everybody back to their bad habits of just parking forever on Elm Street. And while parking is now free, this is a great opportunity right now, this time.
Right now is to try out the free parking. It's something that we've talked about at the parking department level for a long time. But we're gonna, now we can try it, but it's still, in my opinion, it still means that we have to enforce the 2-hour limit on Elm Street, because during COVID, everybody who worked in those offices up top, everybody was parking on Elm Street because you could all day. No one was downtown. But now it's tight down there again. And, I'm noticing at 9 o'clock in the morning, some of the spaces are filled. And I think that's because of all the businesses.
Hey,
So it's hard.
Tucker, your voice for some reason.
Move your arm. Move your arm. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my things.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
guys. I'm trying to give my daughter the yeses. So we want to make sure that the parking is still maintained on Elm Street while it's free in the lots. I want to really push for the fact that we have an attendant downtown. So to your point, Heather, to be able to have somebody downtown in a uniform, even though it's going to be one of our parking attendants, I think it's just a good practice. Someone just walking and helping a FedEx truck move along, things like that. So, Kevin, we're going to do that soon, right?
Yep.
And they'll be in a uniform, so there's something about that. I'm sorry that you had a situation that was a little scary for you, but other than that, sounds like you handled it.
Right.
Yeah,
Tucker,
good.
your audio is a little low now. I don't know.
Is it? Is it because I don't know what's going on?
That's
Okay.
better.
I'm hearing myself in the feedback, so maybe that's it. What about you, Jack? What are you hearing from any of your people that you talk to a lot?
Tucker, you talking to me?
Yes, to you.
I've just heard, well, there's excitement that it's starting to open up for sure. That's what I'm hearing. I think that there's a ways to go, but they feel good about that. I talked to Jordan at the ice cream store, and he's been exceedingly happy with the amount of traffic that he has had. That has been a very successful opening.
Yeah, no, he called me and he said on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best, he said it was a 600.
And there's been some residual effect with the toy store. So that has been good. Their traffic is supposedly up.
Mhm.
So I did hear that. That's about it.
I did get a couple of calls Tuesday about the fact that though there does seem to be a lot of congregating over there now.
Right.
And that's
Right.
something that we have to keep an eye on. And I've talked to Jordan about it, a lot of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but
So Gophers had a really good lunch.
that's Gopher. That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I had a Zoom call with a lot of the merchants last night about sidewalk sale. We're obviously not going to be doing any sidewalk sales in July. But I wanted to get all of the merchants sort of together, and I have another one scheduled for next week just to get some ideas of how we might do something to help them in terms of a sales event. Lynn Brooks Avni, who's our town planner, reminded me that the governor's orders allow for people to put racks out now, which we normally don't allow with our planning and zoning regulations. They do have to apply for a permit to do that. So what we're thinking about, and this is still way off because, again, we don't know we hope everything's going to go smoothly, but nothing's for sure. And I'm going to run it by the group next week, but we're thinking that maybe we would do something the end of August, like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of an event where only the New Canaan stores, with our sidewalk sales, we normally bring in, merchants from the outside come in and that kind of thing, but it would just be our local stores. It certainly wouldn't be the fair and festival that we're used to, but it would really be an event designed around shopping and sales and back to school and all of those kinds of things. So we haven't really put that out there yet. Grace, I see you on the call. I mean, that's not something that we've even decided on. It was just
okay. I get that.
Yep, just an idea that we're throwing around, and I'm talking to the other towns to see what they're doing as well. But it's pretty obvious that obviously nothing's going to happen in July. So I can't believe that we're not going to have I can't believe we didn't have a Mayfair. I can't believe we're not going to have a sidewalk sale, but we've got to do something because one of the stories that was on last night said the sidewalk sale day is their single biggest day of the year.
Right.
Yeah, so that's an important event. And I think, again, the reason why we picked the August date was because we normally have the Taste of the Town stroll at the end of August. And that's always been a sweet spot. Even though school hadn't started yet, people were back in town because pre-seasons had started, things like that, but they were still a little bit on that vacation mode. And we always had a great turnout for that. So we decided to sort of stick with that date, maybe, of having 3 days of some, and literally closing the street for one of the days and having it be just to give the space that we're going to need for everybody. So we'll learn more about that.
Did you talk to them about that, back to the rack idea? Did you talk to them about having, you know, days where they are coordinated, where they're
So-
bringing the racks out?
Right now, BJ, they can do it every day if they want.
Oh, okay.
And many of them have already applied for a permit to do it.
Understood.
It's-
Okay.
And well controlled. And I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a,
Case by case, like they're not, it's not like we could plan that.
no, I mean, originally we had thought about maybe doing, you know, Saturdays kind of things, but
Yeah.
now that a lot of them are doing it, I mean, I know, Heather, you've had a rack out. Have you had people going through that kind of stuff? Have you had people going through your rack, Heather?
I mean, a little bit, but nothing crazy. So,
Right.
it's fine. It's just like an extra way of getting them to come in the store.
Exactly. So we're just going to have to make sure that people don't obstruct sidewalks and that it looks, you know, right, in keeping and all of that. So that honestly is really all I had on the agenda for tonight. I think what we'll do is go back to our monthly meetings because we were meeting every week. Our next meeting will be the 25th, but by the looks of it, I don't think the 5:30 timeframe is a good timeframe because, you know, Brock was the one that begged me to do it and he's missed the last two. So, which are why we went to 5:30. I'd like to go back to the 7 o'clock. I mean, does that not work? How do people feel about that?
7
Fine.
o'clock is fine. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm good.
And what I'll do in the meantime is I'll send out, as soon as we get that Survey Monkey information, I'll send that out just so you all can see it. And, you know, we're just right now working towards phase 2, which is going to be here in 3 weeks. It's crazy. I know, which means we can get
Tucker,
back
I
in the
have-
restaurants.
I have some other business, just
Great.
very briefly, I'd like to share with the group. Abby Bangser, who some of you may know, is a town resident, and she co-chaired with me last year the Grace Farms benefit, and she is a gallerist, and she has a great idea for this coming fall. She's actually going to organize a very small and private art viewing of sellable and very high-end art in the Elliott Noyes House on Country Club Road. Tucker put me in touch with Tom Statler because I wanted to make sure that the town could be on board with this, that we were crossing our T's and dotting our I's. And Tom in turn spoke to the town planner, Health and Human Services, and the police department just to make sure that such an event would be possible. So it's a very small scale event that will take place in the home from mid-September through mid-November, in which a couple of galleries, Abby's husband's gallery included, called Bloom and Poe in the city, will bring out and install in the Elliott Noyes House a couple of pieces and invite some high-end art patrons who are likely to be interested in this art to view the art in situ in the house. And what I recommended to Abby was that these visitors to New Canaan, they would have specific time slots. It would be one car driving up of invited patrons, that they have a takeaway card of restaurants and retail outlets that might be appealing to this group of people that come for a Saturday 1-hour viewing period. So Tom essentially cleared it with the different entities in town, And it looks like it is going to go forward. It will be an in-person event. They'll probably do a small filming within the house of the art. And it's a great opportunity for promoting New Canaan as well to this demographic and possibly getting a story out of it. So I just wanted to share that with the group. And as those plans become more concrete as we get closer to the fall, there might be some opportunities for TDAC to promote the event as well in some capacity. I'm not sure how, but
Is that going to be connected to the October for Design and all?
not at this point. It's an invited only arrangement. But it's part of this whole, New Canaan has these cultural assets that make it quite unique. So it does fit into that. So maybe there's an opportunity on some level, but it's a very small gathering because of the social distancing issues that we have.
Is it
Amanda,
gonna fundraise for the Noise House? Is it a fundraiser or is it?
Well, the galleries will make contributions to basically rent the house for this 2-month period to keep the art in the house with the security that will be elevated for the house. So it is a small fundraiser. It's not a public fundraiser per se, but some funds will be coming towards the Elliott Noyes House. And with those funds, there's going to be some small repairs and updates that need to happen.
Amanda, I did that, an art gallery showing at the Smith House, at the Holden House. Keith Smith, who grew up in the house in Darien, has a gallery in New York. And we did an event at that house. And that was a very good event. It got a lot of publicity. So you could probably do very well with that.
Great. I might contact you separately to find out how you orchestrated that.
So Amanda, are you thinking about, is it a couple of days a week or is this once a week or?
Right now, Abby's thought is it would just be Saturdays. And there would be 45-minute slots with an hour in its entirety so that there wouldn't be overlap of the invited guests. They would come to the house, they would tour the art with a representative from the gallery on site. And obviously the goal is sale of artwork. So right now, I think it would be maybe 9 Saturdays from mid-September through mid-November.
And will people pay a ticket fee to even be part of this, or is it just about selling the art?
I don't think so. I think these are relationships that the galleries have with certain patrons who have purchased art before, so they wouldn't be necessarily charging them. But it's an opportunity for them to come to town with this 1-hour commitment. It seems like there's a nice opportunity to have that segue into coming downtown, having lunch, those kinds of things, and expanding the visibility of New Canaan to, the contemporary art world, which is a nice segue from modern house and architecture and all of that. So
it's great. All right, yeah, so we need to be thinking about that in the way of promoting New Canaan. And again, back to what Alan was saying, this drive market piece is, it's a big deal right now.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I'm glad that worked out. So you got to Tom and got that all squared away.
Yep, thanks.
Great. Anybody else have any other business?
Tucker, you might mention the work of Bob Parisia and the chain.
Yeah, so Kevin put me in touch with a gentleman named Bob Parisia who he was a retail analyst, Kevin, is that what he did?
He was a Wall Street analyst.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we are working with him to identify sort of 5, 6, 7 chain stores, to work with them right now, to talk to sort of at the corporate level, to find out how the store is doing, what do they need from us? I mean, we were specifically thinking about stores that we know, like J. Crew, where they have filed Chapter 11. That they have the ability at the corporate level to keep certain stores open as part of this. And Bob is helping us make those connections and have those discussions to influence them to keep a store like the New Canaan store open for business.
You may have seen that the Le Pen Quotidien filed for bankruptcy yesterday with their 250 stores or whatever. And the first thing bankers does is try to break the bad leases they have with landlords. So the idea here was to try to find out, is the landlord talking? Is there anything the town can do? The landlord can work with the town to try to keep the store open and not be on a list of stores to close. So.
Right. And I did hear again from LPQ, while they did file Chapter 11, you know, they do keep certain franchises open, and so nothing's been determined yet. Right now, we're told that they are supposed to reopen, but that'll all be determined. So yeah, that's another effort that's going on. Right now, we're just trying to collect all the information and find out who we have to call to, and we're leveraging some connections that we have to be able to make those calls, to work with those businesses so that we can keep those stores open here in town.
Great.
All right, if nothing else, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. And so I'll send out to the whole group again that business survey results when we get it, but our next meeting will be June 25th. And so all this October for Design, and Amanda, your effort sounds like it's all gonna start kicking into high gear. So we'll get cracking on it.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, Tucker.
Thanks, everybody. All right, motion to adjourn. Bye.
We'll see you.
Bye.